Welcome to a powerful, motivational story that will change the way you see struggle and strength. This is the story of a little bird who faced the hardest moments of life and still chose to rise.
Wings of Courage, the story of a bird who learned to live alone. In a quiet corner of a vast green forest, where sunlight filtered softly through the leaves, and the wind whispered ancient stories, there stood a tall old tree. At the very top of that tree, hidden among thick branches, was a small nest made of twigs, grass, and love. In that nest lived a tiny bird named Arlo. Arlo was young, too young to fly, too young to understand the dangers of the world. His world was small, but it was perfect. His mother brought him food every morning, and his father taught him how to spread his wings. Life is not easy, his father would say, but if you are brave, you can survive anything. Arlo didn't fully understand those words. Why would he need to? His parents were always there. Until one day, they weren't. The day everything changed. It started like any other morning. The sky was clear, and the forest was calm. Arlo chirped happily as his parents prepared to leave in search of food. "Stay here," his mother said gently. "We'll be back soon," his father added. Arlo nodded, trusting them completely. But as the day went on, something felt wrong. The sun moved across the sky. Hours passed. The wind grew colder. The forest became quieter. His parents didn't return. At first, Arlo thought they were just late. He waited patiently, then anxiously, then desperately. Night fell. The darkness wrapped around the forest, and fear wrapped around Arlo's heart. He called out for his parents again and again, but only silence answered him. Deep inside, a painful truth began to form. They were gone. Fear, hunger, and loneliness. The next few days were the hardest of Arlo's life. He was alone. No food, no protection, no guidance. His small body grew weaker with hunger. His voice became softer from calling out. The nights were cold, and the days felt endless. He looked down from the nest and saw the ground far below. "How will I survive?" he whispered. Every instinct told him to stay in the nest. It was the only place he knew, the only place that felt safe. But safety was slowly turning into a trap, because in that nest, without food or help, he would not survive. The first decision. On the fourth day, something inside Arlo changed. It wasn't strength. It wasn't courage. It was necessity. He realized something important. Waiting would not save him. He remembered his father's words. "If you are brave, you can survive anything." Arlo slowly stood up. His legs trembled. His wings were weak. He walked to the edge of the nest and looked down. The ground looked impossibly far. Fear filled his heart. "What if I fall?" he thought. But then another thought came. What if I stay? If he stayed, he would slowly fade away. If he jumped, he might fail, but he might also live. The leap of faith. Arlo closed his eyes. He took a deep breath, and he jumped. For a moment, there was nothing but falling. The air rushed past him. His heart pounded wildly. "I'm going to die," he thought. But then, instinct took over. His wings moved. Once, twice, again. At first, it was clumsy and uneven. But slowly, something incredible happened. He stopped falling. He was still unsteady, still afraid, but he was no longer falling. He was flying, learning through struggle. Arlo's first flight was not graceful. He crashed into branches. He barely managed to land on a lower branch. But he was alive, and that was enough. From that day on, Arlo began to learn. He learned how to find food, though at first he failed many times. He learned how to drink water from a nearby stream. He learned how to hide from predators. Each day brought new challenges. Some days he went hungry. Some nights he shivered in the cold. Sometimes he felt so tired that he wanted to give up. But every time he fell, he got back up. because he had no other choice. The storm within. Weeks passed. Arlo grew stronger, but the pain inside him remained. He missed his parents. Sometimes he would sit quietly on a branch and look at the sky, wondering where they were. "Why did you leave me?" he would whisper. But there was no answer. One night, a storm returned to the forest, the same kind of storm that had taken his parents. The wind howled, the rain poured down, the trees shook violently. Fear returned to Arlo's heart. For a moment, he felt like that helpless little bird again. But then something changed. He spread his wings and held tightly to the branch. "I will not be afraid," he said. The storm raged, but Arlo did not let go. By morning, the storm was gone, and Arlo was still there, stronger than before, becoming independent. As months passed, Arlo transformed. He was no longer the weak, frightened bird from the nest. He became fast, skilled, alert. He could fly high above the forest, seeing the world his parents once described. He could find food with ease. He could survive harsh weather. Most importantly, he believed in himself. One day, while flying across the forest, he saw another small bird sitting alone in a nest, afraid, just like he once was. Arlo landed nearby. The little bird looked at him with fear. "Don't be afraid," Arlo said gently. "I was once like you." Arlo stayed with the little bird for a while. He didn't bring it food. He didn't carry it. Instead, he taught it. "Your wings are stronger than you think," he said. "You don't need to be perfect. You just need to try." The little bird hesitated. "Unscared," it said. Arlo smiled. "So was I." After some time, the little bird stepped to the edge of its nest, and just like Arlo once did, it jumped. Years passed. Arlo became known throughout the forest, not as the strongest bird, not as the fastest, but as the bravest. Many birds admired him, but they didn't know his story. They didn't know about the lonely nights, the hunger, the fear, the falls. They only saw the bird who soared confidently in the sky. But Arlo knew the truth. Strength is not given, it is built. Through pain, through struggle, through never giving up. Final message to humanity. If Arlo could speak to humans, this is what he would say. Life will test you. There will be moments when you feel alone. Moments when everything you depend on disappears. Moments when fear tries to hold you back. But remember this, you have wings. They may be weak now, they may be untested, but they are there. And the only way to discover them is to take the leap. You may fall at first, you may fail again and again, but one day you will realize something beautiful. You are no longer falling, you are flying. Moral of the story. Don't wait for someone to save you. Believe in your own strength. Fear is natural, but courage is a choice. Every struggle makes you stronger, and most importantly, sometimes losing everything is the beginning of becoming everything.
Final message for audience. Life will test you. It will break you. It will leave you alone. But if you keep going, if you refuse to give up, you will rise. You will grow. You will fly.